What is happening, sports fans? It's your main man, Matt from the DFS 5 Pack. I am rocking it solo. It is Monday, May 23rd. We got 10 MLB games to talk over. Might only be 9, one game with a little bit of weather concerns, that being the first game we're going to talk about. Other than that, should be good to go pretty much everywhere else. Excited to get back on here. Hopefully everyone had a good weekend. Excited to crush this Monday night MLB slate. Play some NBA Showdown. Got a good series in the East with Miami and Boston. Before I hop into the MLB, let me shout out our promoter real quick. So ABC Islands, if you haven't checked them out yet, not sure what you're waiting for, the link and the promo code will be in the description section of the video. So again, if you're into sports betting, any of that type of stuff, go check them out. We've had a bunch of people already win money, and I don't see why you couldn't be the next. So again, the link and the promo code will be in the description section. Go check them out. All right, let's talk some baseball. We'll rock it game by game today. Why not? I like switching it up. All right, so first off, we got the Dodgers at the Nats. There is some weather concerns here, as I mentioned, so stay tuned on that. If it looks like it's not going to play, I would recommend not playing guys from this game. As far as pitchers go, Tyler Anderson, he's been pretty good this year. Aside from that start against Philly, he's been solid, more solid than spectacular. I'm not interested in spending 9,400 on him. But again, a weak Nats lineup that might not have Nelson Cruz. I think I like Anderson more than the Nationals. As far as the Dome goes, he is a definite no for me. He's got okay stuff, but he walks a ton of guys. This is not the spot that you want to be using him. Dodgers, obviously, with a lethal lineup against righties. Their stack is wildly in play, probably the top stack on the board if this game plays. A lot to like about everyone in this lineup. Guy like Cody Bellinger, 4,200, big-time DFS upside with his power, speed, combo. Mookie Betts, obviously, one of the best players in baseball. Trey Turner, same with him. Justin Turner's got going a little bit. Max Muncy. Might have a cheap Edwin Rios in the middle of this lineup, which is always nice. Home runs and back-to-back starts. Good spot for him again against the Dome. A lot to like about the Dodgers tonight. They're going to get love, as they should. If the rain holds out, I think they're one of, if not the top stack on the board. Then the Nationals, they got going a little bit. They hit up Freddie Peralta. I prefer Josh Bell against righties. Obviously, I prefer Soto against righties. I don't think you're crazy to use Soto here. Not going to get any love. So whenever you get an elite player that's not going to be, that's going to be 5% owned, I have no problem with it in tournaments. But on paper, nothing stands out from Washington. Alrighty, moving on. Baltimore at New York. We've got Garrett Cole against Jordan Lyles facing Baltimore at home. Cole is by far the top pitcher on the slate. It's not even close. He's not the same Garrett Cole that was 30, fantasy points per game every start, no matter what, but he's still pretty damn good. And given the options tonight, I think you just plug in Cole and move on. I have no interest in the Baltimore bats. If you're playing 150 lineups, sure. If you're one of those that stacks against the chalkiest pitcher on the slate, I get it. But on paper, there's no getting away from Cole. And then Lyles against the Yankees. Lyles has actually been pretty decent this year. He's coming off a good start against New York. Went 7 strong, 8 Ks. I don't like this spot for him right back in New York. They rested some guys yesterday, so they're going to be ready to go after losing 2 games to the White Sox on Sunday. I like their entire lineup. Anthony Rizzo, Aaron Judge, my favorite piece, homer and then doubled late in last night's game. I like the Yankees lineup. We'll have to wait and see what it looks like when it comes out, but the entire stack is in play for me. And if they're not getting as much love as the Dodgers, I prefer the Yankees. Alrighty, Philly and Atlanta. We've got Zach Wheeler in Atlanta against Tucker Davidson. Davidson was pretty good last time out in Milwaukee, got up to 69 pitches. I have no interest in him here, even though Philly's offense has been anemic. I still like them in this spot. And then Zach Wheeler won't get a ton of love because Cole is the priority, but he's the next best pitcher on the slate. I don't really think it's close. So if you want to pair those two together, or pivot if you like a chalky offense and go to Wheeler instead of Cole in tournaments, I get it. I'm more likely just to pair them together personally and fade Cole for him. Tough spot. I never really loved using righties in Atlanta against the Braves. As far as offenses go in this game, I don't love Atlanta. Like I said, I don't really want to pick on them with a righty in Atlanta, but Wheeler's good, so he's real good. I'm not like going out of my way to stack against him. Acuna always in play, probably the biggest power speed upside guy in baseball right now. Yeah, the Atlanta offense doesn't stand out to me, but Philly does. They got cheap guys that are expensive to pair with them. JT Realmuto at 4,100, not having a good year, but long track record of success here. 4,100 in this spot, I have no problem with it. Castellanos against a lefty, 4,200, wildly in play for me. Here. Continue to just do Castellanos type things. Not having his greatest season so far, but nothing to slouch at either. And we know his power upside is real. Harper and Schwarber, lefty on lefty. I bet their ownership is dwarfed a little bit because of that. I like them in the stack. Alec Boehm, presumably hitting second. And then Segura, also a guy that's having a really good year. I like the Phillies offense. I think they're wildly in play tonight. All right, Detroit at Minnesota. Bo Brisky at Chris Archer. I have no interest in either pitcher here. It's just a matter of how much of these offenses we want. As far as Detroit goes, they're never going to excite me. Robbie Grossman had a good day yesterday. They got to Shane Bieber a little bit. I'm not excited about Detroit in this spot. And then as far as Minnesota goes against Brisky, they're in a good spot. They're getting love to boot. Buxton, one of the highest owned players on the slate. Makes sense. He's really good. Right there with Acuna with that power speed upside. They got cheap guys to go with it too. Max Kepler, we'll have to wait and see what their lineup looks like. They're always doing some funky things. But Gio Urshela, not cheap, but Gary Sanchez always has high power upside. Carlos Correa, same thing. So they've got some really cheap guys to mix in with those expensive guys. And as a stack, they look good. Probably getting a little bit too much love for my liking, but on paper, I see nothing wrong with getting here. And in cash games, I'd probably want exposure. All right, Toronto at St. Louis. This is an interesting one. We've got Miles Mikolas hosting Jose Barrios. Mikolas has been fantastic this year, averaging 18-plus DK points per game, a .99 whip, a 1.68 ERA. I mean, dude's just been really, really good. Coming off a not great outing against the Mets, still battled, put up 15 DK points. I don't want to spend 9,600 on him at all, but I also don't really want to use the Blue Jays. I think he'd be more in play for me than the Jays tonight, just given our options. That's a shame because I always like the Jays low owned, on the road in St. Louis. But Mikolas has just been fantastic this year, so he's in play for me in tournaments, knowing that he doesn't have the highest upside in the world. But if he gives you a strong start tonight, I don't know how many other guys you can be that confident to do that. So Jose Barrios on the other side, I think he's riskier with higher upside than Mikolas. He has not been that good this year, as check out by his underlying numbers. I can't be too excited about Barrios here, even though given the slate, I don't think you're crazy to like him at 8,500. As far as the offenses go, Toronto, as I mentioned, I don't like the matchup. They're, not that great against righties. But we know they've got some big power guys in this lineup. Vlad under 5K. Springer 5K exactly. Teoscar 4,500. Bo Bichette 5K. I never mind any of these guys if you want to mini stack them. I get it. I'm more on the Mikolas side in tournaments. And then on the Cardinals side, I like the Cardinals more than I like the Jays here. Nolan Gorman, 2K, one of the top hitting prospects in baseball. Yeah, he's an elite filler piece, in all formats. The Cards are expensive, so it's really hard to prioritize them, they're big guys against Barrios, but they also won't get any love, and they're really good. So Gorman's a priority for me as of right now. Otherwise, I doubt I'd get to the offenses here if I'm making 1 to 3 lineups, even though they could always go off, and I know that. Cleveland at Houston. The Astros hosting my Guardians. Interesting pitching matchup. Luis Garcia against Tristan McKenzie. I'm a fan of McKenzie's stuff. He walks too many guys. Wasn't great last time out against Minnesota. I'm not looking to use him here. I think Houston's an interesting stack we'll get to. Luis Garcia, I never really like using guys against Cleveland. I'm not going to start here. I don't really want to pick on Garcia either, so the Cleveland stack is just meh for me. Probably given the slate, I'd rather use Garcia, but there's other guys in that price range I like more. The Houston stack looks like it's not getting any love. They're expensive. They've been a little bit underwhelming. But Yordan Alvarez, Altuve, Bregman, those guys are elite, and I don't mind going there. Hard for me to want to prioritize them just given the nature of this slate, with pitching. We'll get to Marco Gonzalez in a bit, but all the good pitchers are expensive, and the drop down is real. I like Houston as a contrarian stack, even though I could also see McKenzie pitching well here. It's not like I have to go to Houston. KC and Arizona. This is an interesting one. Zach Davies against Zach Greinke, two guys that don't strike out a lot of hitters. 1 second. Davies coming off a rough outing against the Dodgers. No shame in that. Otherwise, has been pretty solid. He's cheap. KC's not good. They also don't strike out. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys. Nah, no thanks there. And then Zach Greinke, hardly ever going to use Greinke at this point. His price is not that cheap, though. I mean, he's been pretty cheap, but $4,800. I mean, just given the nature of the slate and the crappy options like Marco Gonzalez getting so much love, I don't think a Greinke pivot is crazy, but you're certainly not excited about it going back to place where he pitched. As far as the offenses go, KC is getting a ton of love tonight. They're cheap. Makes sense. Emmanuel Rivera hitting in the middle of this lineup at 2,200. When Merrifield has really gotten it going after a sluggish start. You got Bobby Witt Jr., who everyone loves to play. Hunter Dozier, Carlos Santana at 2K. He's hot right now. 34 DK points over the last 3 games. 2K. The Santana Rivera two-man stack works wonders as far as lineup construction and getting expensive guys in there. Throwing Nolan Gorman and you're set to go. So I get why KC's getting love. And then Arizona against Greinke, they're also in a good spot. They're not getting a ton of love because they're more expensive. Ketel Marte, 46, Walker, 47. Rojas is day-to-day. He's even pricey. Their outfielders aren't pricey, but they're not cheap either. I like Arizona. I don't think they're a priority for me, though. Talked about the Yankees. I do like Arizona, though. I don't think Greinke's that good anymore, but he's also not a guy I go out of my way to stack against either. He's got a lot of goals, so I don't know. Arizona doesn't stand out for me. KC, because of their price tags, does. All right, Oakland at Seattle. We've got Zach Loge against Marco Gonzalez. Gonzalez getting a ton of love here. Great matchup at home against Oakland. He's 5,300, so do with that what you will. In cash games, I'd play him with Cole. I think you could do a lot worse than just doing that in tournaments as well, considering I don't love any other pitcher on this slate. As far as Loge goes, he had the really good start against Detroit. Seems like everyone does that. Other than that, he's been very meh. Seattle coming back from a long road trip, but still, I'm more interested in the Seattle bats than I am Loge himself. 2 lefties on the hill here, worth noting. Suarez has been hot, tied the game with a home run yesterday. You see that double digits in 3 out of 4, on a nice hitting streak too, I believe. Yeah. Nice little hitting streak for Suarez. He's probably the guy that stands out. Also, Kyle Lewis projected to be back tonight. So a big bat in that Seattle lineup. Julio Rodriguez, way too cheap. I imagine he gets loved just because of that price tag. I didn't realize. Oh, yeah, I did. They signed Justin Upton. Interesting to see if he ever gets up and plays a role for the Mariners. I don't love Seattle as a stack, but I think they're in play. I don't think a lot of people get there. I'm more like pieces. And then Oakland, The thing that I like about Oakland is that Marco Gonzalez is getting so much love. So, I mean, they're cheap. If you want to spend up on two pitchers, I get the play here. Hate to see Laureano out. If he's back, it makes me like the lineup more. They are so cheap, though. Like Pinder against the lefty at 2K, Laureano 2,600, Sean Murphy 3,200. Yeah, I don't even mind them as filler pieces if you use Gonzalez. Not that you need it because there's other cheap guys, but Oakland's too cheap. And if you want to use two expensive pitchers, I don't hate the idea of getting some athletics in your life. 2 games left, Milwaukee at San Diego. Hauser against Martinez, both averaging 14, 3 TK points per game. Seems about right. Both these pitchers are similar to me. Definitely not going out of my way to use either of them. I'd more be interested in the bats, but also neither guy is a guy like I love to pick on either. Hauser was awful in that Cincinnati start. Got bailed out by what was called an error. Otherwise, he would have been in the big negatives there. But other than that, he's been really good in 2 of 4. He's been sound in the other starts besides that. He's too expensive. Same with Martinez. The bats, however, Milwaukee, yeah, I don't hate Milwaukee given their price tags. No one's crazy expensive. They're not cheap, but they're not crazy expensive. I guess Rowdy would be a guy that stands out. Big power upside at that price, him and Yelich. And I feel similarly about San Diego. Hosmer's come back down to earth for sure. Machado's still raking. He was monster yesterday. I mean, 3 doubles and a triple. He's on quite the 3-game run right now. Yeah, he's under 5K also. I like him a lot as a one-off, or if you want to stack San Diego, do your thing. They look like they're too cheap. Cronenworth seeing the ball well right now. Yeah, the Padres are way too cheap. I mean, I don't think Hauser is that good at all. So I got no problem picking on him. He's not a gas can, so I don't like look at the slate and think I have to pick on him, but the Padres are too good to be this cheap against Hauser. They're, again, hot right now. Definitely in play for me. All right, Mets and Giants, last but not least. David Peterson against Alex Cobb. Peterson's been in AAA. Peterson was good last year. He was pretty good in his limited time this year. I never like picking on San Fran with lefties, so I'm not going to start with Peterson, but probably don't want to go out of my way for the Giants stack either. And then Alex Cobb, nah. 7,900, you could do worse, but this Mets lineup is just good. And, I know they were not good yesterday in Coors, but I can't see if I'm making one lineup, me wanting to land on Alex Cobb. Again, although the thought of using Marco Gonzalez doesn't make me smile either. As far as the Mets stack goes, Eduardo Escobar is really cheap, not having a good year, though, so know that going in. Their top guys are probably too expensive for me to want to prioritize in this spot. Alonso and Lindor both over 5, Nimmo and Marte close to that. Looks more of like a stay away spot. A lot of that on this slate, kind of just like how the cookie crumbles, I guess, tonight. It stinks, but everyone's dealing with the same mess. Again, if you're making one lineup right now in cash games, it's definitely Cole and Marco. And then in tournaments, I think anything else goes, including that. Anything else goes. So that's what I got for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Sorry my voice is cutting out. The sleep schedule is a little bit crazy over here, as anyone with a new baby knows. So again, I appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, I'm around this afternoon. I'll get back to the normal 2 videos this week for sure. Just was a crazy morning this morning and wanted to get something out for everyone to see. Like I said, I'll be around this afternoon. If you have any questions, holler at me. If you want more content, more videos, more write-ups, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. We'd love to have you. In the meantime, let's crush tonight. Write-up will be out to members in normal time. I appreciate you guys as always. Catch you on the flip side tomorrow.